Welcome back, everybody, to Norby's Worldwide Activities, where we talk about politics. And I'm not talking about street politics, I'm talking about like politics. All right, we got Lottes in the house. Says conservatives have more guns. Good evening, everyone. I don't know, Lottes. I don't know. A lot of fake, a lot of Democrats here in California have a lot of weapons. And I gotta clarify something. When I say Democrats in California, I don't mean liberals. I mean the Democrats, the Southern Democrats, the ones that created the Democratic Party. Those people are definitely still part of the Democratic Party, and they really do have a lot of weapons over here. Timo Deville says, Ante, we better get right quick for the preparing for battle. Question is, will you be ready? That's a very good question. You know what? Let me tap those in. All right, as always, let me go ahead and invite kids. Sub Smear Gang, Arturo, Rainax, holding everyone back. Rainax? Clarifying that one. Tired or Rainax? Brainrex? Huh. All right, so I'm gonna post the link for the stream if you want to tap in. So to the title of this live, I said that because recently Trump decided that he needs to send the National Guard into Chicago, but not just any National Guard, Texas National Guard. Texas National Guard. Now, this is the first, well, from what I can see, this is the first official move of the South moving towards the North. I didn't think we, I don't know, maybe Trump is trolling everyone doing that type of movement, but to bring in the National Guard from another state south to a state north says a lot, considering that Illinois has its own National Guard. So why not just tap into Illinois National Guard to handle business? Why send Texas National Guard up north? Is it because the people of the National Guard Illinois have been compromised in a way where they would probably not help the federal government? And if that's the case, are they in trouble for not helping, or at least suggesting that they will not aid ICE in their in their kidnappings? I call them kidnappings. Let's see. All right, let's see. Dave says, "What's up, Norberto? Saludos from Idaho." Hey, shout out to Idaho. I need to try some of your potatoes, and I don't mean that in a weird way, but it's the home of potatoes, right? Timo Deville says they're preparing, they're bragging, they got the cuetes. They also saying us Chicanos can never organize, that we busy fighting each other. If we're busy fighting each other, what do you call them? And they're like their slaughterings of churches and stuff. Like these people, their own race needs to look at the mirror, because they are definitely not helping each other out either. They okay. Let me see. Smeargan says Chicago is a dump, so it's fine. Now, Smeargan, I have spoken to several Chicagoans, and they will tell me it's just like LA. I mean, you could say LA is run down, but when you look at TVs and when you look at the movies, LA is like the richest, fanciest, coolest place you could be in. And for the most part, it's partially true, but it does have its own hood area where it's not so safe and not so glamorous. The Red Cat Uprock says Texas National Guard. Yeah, Yeah, they're heading to. I believe they said 700 of Texas National Guard are heading up there. Now I don't know. I don't understand why he would do that. Let's see. Let's see. Ooh, you guys said a lot. Shout out to Only 64. Let's see. A lot of says Illinois National Guard might already be un, un, hmm. Smear guy says yes, it's most likely it. So, compa. Let's see. Timo says we outnumber you on the right. Get it right. I see what you did there. All right. All right. I see what you did there. Rerun. Okay, he says Illinois National Guard might already be corrupted by local politicians. Well, exactly. That's what I said. They might already be compromised, but it really makes me wonder, like, how did they get that intel? If that's true, how did they find out that the Illinois National Guard will not follow federal law or federal orders in that case? And then again, why choose Texas National Guard? They could have made it easier financially also by maybe getting the next state over and getting their National Guard to go there. But they're gonna spend a ton of money transferring 700 troops. I can't even imagine how much it's gonna cost to transport 700 National Guard troops to Chicago for one city. 700. That's excessive. Smear Gang says, just remember, Norbert, you are the perpetrating the message of the true master by living in this victimhood mentality and believing the fight is between people when it's against the elites. Um, Smear Gang, you know what? Yeah, there are elites, there are families that run the show. This is very true. This is very true. And and you got to consider all this chaos is not good for business, especially for an elite. You don't want chaos. You don't want people getting angry, people organizing, people uniting. Why? Because that's bad for business. That means when when the mob gets together, they change things. They break things and they change things. That's the last thing they want. If anything, Trump is not making it easier for the elite to run a smooth show. If anything, making it complicated. And for the most part, I mean, he's probably a problem to the elite because they're the real OGs of not being seen and not being heard. They just move in silence. You don't see what they do. You never see who they are. And that's the way they like it. With all this chaos going on, something's bound to leak. Someone's bound to break. And somebody's, you know, bound to tell. And this is the bad thing about these kinds of organizations that there's always going to be uh, what's the word? There's always going to be that weak link in the chain that's going to mess it all up for everybody else because they don't want to be a part of it or they don't want to keep doing it. And it happens. It happens. There's always a weak link in the chain. That's just the natural order. Question is, when's it going to happen? I mean, look, the thing that happened with Charlie Kirk, that's a form of controlling us. Look at it. You had every right winger, doxing people, getting them fired from their jobs just because of one guy. You had people talking about civil war. You had people talking about purging just for one dude that all he did was debate. This guy wasn't a politician. This guy wasn't a clergyman. This guy was nothing in the ways of he could actually make a difference. like right now. This guy was just a dude that went to colleges to debate and to show the world that he's right and you're wrong. That's it. But look how the country flips upside down. Crazy right wingers wanted blood for that guy. More families got divided. Friends started dividing. I mean, it's just it didn't make sense to me. You know. Let me put this thing again. Okay, so there's a link you guys want to join. A lot of says the real enemy is that isn't Raza. It's Antifa. Shit started and gained agitators. Well, that's the thing I'm worried about because and that's the one thing I'm curious about because if I go to a protest and somebody asks me where's Antifa, are they assuming that I'm part of Antifa? Because I'll be honest, guys, I have no idea where anybody would sign up for that organization because apparently it's a real one. But how do you sign up for it? I wouldn't know. I don't think they got a website. I don't think they have an Instagram. I mean, if they did, it would be pretty stupid and pretty obvious, and then the government can pick them up very easily. But and that's the thing, Antifa. Who is Antifa? You could say crazy white people with colored hair are Antifa, but I think they're just crazy white people with colored hair. Are they organized? I don't think so because I don't. I would say no because usually they're either by themselves or there were two people. And when there's one or two, that's not considered like organized or a gang at that because right here in LA, I think you have to be more than five to be a gang or be organized. But then that's crazy. Well, that's the thing. Like, who funds? Where do you apply for a check from Antifa? And that's the thing. You know what? In the last protest I did go to, there were characters that I was like, "Are you guys here for a photo op or what the fuck are you guys here for?" Like, we are all just chanting here, but you guys are fucking taking pictures. You guys are posing. I'm like, who the fuck who are you people? You have people that are throwing rocks. I'm like, why are you throwing rocks? That doesn't even make none of that made sense. Maybe those people, I guess you would consider Antifa, but they can only do that so much because in LA people were getting pissed off that they were doing that shit, and a lot of them got checked really quickly. They couldn't do the same shit they did everywhere else because right here people don't like that shit. And it's crazy though because damn, you guys write a lot. Shit. Shout out to HCP Chemistry. I need to drink some water. But shout out to shout out to Risky Business, Only 64, Bipolar Chipmunk, Smear Gay. And well, anyways, that being said about Antifa, I don't know who the fuck they are. I don't know how you sign up for that. I don't know how you get paid for that. All of that stuff is traceable. Unless they're paying out people in cash, for the most part, all of that is traceable and the government can pick any of that stuff up. So either somebody's making it up or somebody is really using some backdoor channels and paying out people in cash. Other than that, these are things that the government can pick up. They can pick up everything, all audios, all messages, especially with AI. With AI, I mean, they have everything under surveillance. I mean, they didn't even need AI. All they needed was access to Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. They have all of us. It's crazy. I heard somebody say that the best way to keep tabs on Americans was be by creating social media, because with social media, all of us literally volunteer to be surveillance. The cameras turn on when we don't want them to, but we agree to it. The audio turns on, the mics turn on when we don't want them on, because we agree to that they could turn it on whenever they want to. Our search histories are accessible because we allowed it. We said, yes, you guys can check our history and see what we do. They know everything about us. If you're using a phone, anything, they already know about you, which this is the other part. I mean, the government can find everyone. Everyone. I don't care who you are. As long as you touch one piece of technology, they will find you. The AI will pick up your voice on a mic, and then they will track that phone, and then they will find you. Nobody here is not able to hide from this system. And that's because we voluntarily agree to be surveillance. We really can't get mad about it because we all agreed to be on Instagram, be on Facebook, be on YouTube, everything. Yeah, for the most part, you're right, Lattice. They do. I've gotten a couple of warnings that say, you can't speak on things like that. Well, they say it after I said it, and they say, yeah, your material isn't what's the word? Your content isn't something for advertisers. Let's see, what did Bipolar say? Bipolar says Mega Man is the buckets is the budget's fruitcake of the YT. Yarda. He needs to get the. Hey man, shout out to those guys ranting with Ramos and ranting with alcoholics. Those guys went in deep on Mega Cuck. Those guys were really fucking. I mean, I don't know, man. You know what? I want to shout out a guy named Flo. He has a podcast. Chicano, cool guy, probably the nicest podcaster you could ever meet. Like, I'm serious, he's the nicest guy. He's a really cool dude. Anytime you talk to a Flo, coolest guy. Sorry if I stuttered, but it just blew my mind that this guy got pissed off at Mega Cut. I'm like, how do you piss off the nicest, coolest guy? Like, this guy, you could talk shit about him in front of his face. He wouldn't give a fuck. He said, well, I'm sorry. He'll probably say, I'm sorry you feel that about me. Maybe I could do better next time to change your mind and you can see me differently. That's the kind of guy Flo is. To hear this guy he talked a lot of crap about man, Mega Cuck and his chick. But you know what? The difference is that, that guy had receipts on these people. You know, those two, Mega Cuck and his chick, go around talking shit about everybody. And for the most part, I don't entertain it because Mega Cuck doesn't really mean a whole lot to me. I mean, he's just some rando for me at this point. But these guys that made all these shows, episodes about them, about him and his chick, they're his neighbors. They're from Long Beach. They're from that area. I heard quite a bit of a lot of their episodes, and it was hilarious. It's hilarious. Shout out to those guys. Let's see. Tim DeVille says, "Why don't you mention all the white militants backing and the right?" And you want to say talking Antifa? Cut it out already. But no, you got a good point. Let's balance this out. Okay, well, yeah, there is a lot of white militants, that's for sure. I mean, here in California, we have like 5 generations of the KKK members. 5 generations of KKK members. It's not really talked about that much because, well, for the most part, they know the people that run Hollywood. They're friends with them. They have no choice but to be friends with them because everybody has skeletons in their closets, and those KKK guys, they know Hollywood skeletons. For them, it's easy, you know. Don't mention us. Don't let the news talk about us. If something comes out, you know, shut it down. If somebody keeps trying, fire them. And nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about that. We have 5 generations of KKK families here. Five. That's 5 generations of spreading racism in California. Not just Southern California, but all California. You see, when the gold rush happened, a lot of the ones, and I think it's pretty obvious that a lot of the ones that came out here for the gold rush, for the silver rush, for the oil rush, were Southern people. You never saw any paintings or any pictures or any books that talk about people from the north traveling west, right? You did hear a lot of people from the south traveling west. And it's safe to say they took a lot of their racism with them. And it's true. The school system here in California, and this is the thing. The school system here in California is meant for ethnic people, brown people, black, browns, Asian. It doesn't seem like it, but it is meant for them to fail. Depending on the location, depending on the neighborhood, depending on the district. It is made to make sure and guarantee that they fail in life with education. Give them poor education. Don't teach them shit. Let them get away with not learning. Pass them, even though they're failing, just to make certain that they don't get ahead in life. Because there's too many of them out here, and if they start getting ahead in life, well, they're going to take over. And that's a problem. ACP Chemistry says you have to redirect your audience to a landing page in which you sell your products. Otherwise, you will always be poor because Google isn't cutting us checks like other people with influencers. But most part, you're right. You are right. You do have to redirect. I mean, unfortunately, you do have to use some of these platforms. I mean, Amazon being a platform, you could put up you could put up whatever you're selling on Amazon, and Amazon does get a cut, but for the most part, you have a much larger range of customers now. It's like putting your your merchandise in every Walmart, except it's online, and you just gotta push the advertisement. You just gotta push yourself and tell people you want to buy my shit. Here's the link. Go to Amazon. Amazon will set it up for you. And Amazon would be a good platform because millions of people have Amazon. And for the most part, it's easier for people. I mean, you got Timo. Timo, I think it's Timo. Timo or Temu. Timo, I don't know. You guys let me know if it's Timo or Temo. But you got Timo that as far as I can tell, it's just like Amazon. So, which means that you could technically sell your shit there too. Another platform that a lot of people are using, even though it might be Chinese, that doesn't mean that maybe they'll work with U.S. small business to sell their shit on the platform also. You got that other one that people sell their arts and craft stuff. I don't know the name of it. Temu. Yeah, oh, there you go. And then you got AliExpress. Rasa, don't vote. Yes, the ACB chemistry says, Rasa, don't vote for them. Red Cat, you're wrong. It's all plan who wins. The ones who count the votes, they decide who wins. Well, for people that don't know, ACB chemistry is right in that last part where, eh, I mean, we might be giving the popular count, but at the end of the day, the popular count doesn't mean shit. Only a handful of people get to vote for each state, and those votes will be the ones counted as to who will become president. It's called the college electoral vote. The college electoral vote, which a lot of people don't like because any of those people can can be found out because apparently it's supposed to be a super secret thing of who gets to be these college electoral voters. It's a secret. Nobody can know who they are, but obviously somebody knows who they are because they're voting. But they are the only ones that can decide who becomes the president as far as voting goes along. That being said, who knows who has access to that information and who knows if they're using that information to, make the votes. Who knows if they just took it for themselves? That's why a lot of people don't want the college electoral vote anymore because it gives too much power to a small number of people and not the people. Shout out to Earth Rose. But this is why, me, I always tell everybody, vote third party. Both, it's funny, both sides, the right and the left, tell me, well, you're just giving up the vote for the other side. I'm like, you know what? I'm okay with that. I'm okay with giving the vote to whoever you think it's going towards. Because at the end of the day, I'm gonna vote for third. Cause I'm tired. I'm tired of a left and right only option. And I think a lot of people in the across the country are tired of left and right, red and blue. I'm ready for a new party. Something different. I'm ready for somebody that says, you know what? Let's get rid of state income tax. Shit is hard enough already. Let's get rid of state income tax. Why am I gonna keep taxing the residents? They don't got shit money, and my state is super expensive. Let's get rid of that. Why don't we tax alcohol and use that money for healthcare? As we all know, alcohol is probably one of the leading causes of, death in America. Let's send that tax money to healthcare. The weed tax, let's put that also into healthcare. Sugar tax, or at least, what's the word? You know, well, sugar tax. Those are good. I think New York has that. Let's put that towards healthcare. You know, let's let's put a lot of things back into education. You know, as far as the streets, we already have gas taxes. We already got that. Let's get rid of car registrations. Why don't we just let the people put that into their insurance? Because we all know insurance is getting expensive. Why are we? charging people to drive the car they purchase. Just let the insurance have that money so people can buy their insurance. And there's a lot of things that a state can do to help a state. Let's go back and look at property tax. Does a little ass house really supposed to have a property value of $2 million? I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. Should one bedroom apartments cost 2,000 a month? No, no, no. I don't think so. I heard somewhere that minimum wage, if it was supposed, if minimum wage was coinciding with the way inflation has gone, the way the economy has grown, minimum wage should be at $60 an hour. $60 an hour. That's how much minimum wage should be right now for everybody to live the same life as they were living in, let's say, the 40s, the 50s. If we wanted people to live the same way as far as buying a house, paying for their kids' college, having a good savings for retirement, everyone would have to have at least a minimum wage of $60 an hour. And we're nowhere near that. We're not. I don't even. We're not even half. We're not even. I think we're barely at a quarter. Yeah. We're barely at a quarter of what that should be. But we're not. And the crazy part is that people that are making $60 an hour are probably university grads that are paying school loans and not really keeping any of their money. They would have to work another 15 to 20 years to pay off their loans. Meaning, by the time they reach their late 30s or 40s, they will finally have been making money off their education and finish paying off the loans. That is wild that you could go to university, get all your degrees, and by the time you're in your 40s, you'll have finally been making actual money that you don't have to pay back to a loan. That's messed up. That's messed up, especially if you went to a university. So for the most part, that's just crazy how that works. And it's bad. It's really bad that the country's fucked. I mean, people can say that they're making good money, but that's not a big enough number. The amount of debt that America is in right now is in the trillions. In the trillions. And we're talking about credit card debt because people can't afford their groceries, their gas, their electric bill. People are indebting themselves so much that it will take them 10 years from now to get out of their credit card debt, not loans, but credit card debts. It's bad. It's really bad. If there was ever a time that the country needed saving, it's now. And the crazy part is that we're sending, what was it, 5 billion to Israel and then another 5 billion to Argentina. Now, check. Correct me if I'm wrong on those numbers, but we're sending 5 billion there, and then 5 billion, 5 billion to Israel, and then 5 billion to Argentina. That's $10 billion that you and I aren't getting. I mean, we are getting charged more because of those tariffs, but you got Trump that's sending all to other parts of the world when America is in $1 trillion debt. Who's who's saving it? I know for a fact it doesn't seem like Trump is saving America. That's for sure. It might be saving America's interests, but it's not saving America because the American people are collecting debt after debt after debt and not getting rid of it. It's only growing. It's not going down. It's shooting up. So how is it that we can afford to send money to other countries? It's it's crazy. It's madness. That's what it is. Madness. How how can this president that said that he was going to make America great again, but here he is sending money to other countries that don't need the money? Why does Argentina need money? Why does Israel make money? They have, and it's crazy because what was it? I think it was this morning I saw their prime minister say that we have the best most advanced weapons in the world. The most advanced weapons in the world. But yet they need the protection of the US. And they share those weapons with us, the US. What's going to happen when they don't want to share it with us anymore? What's going to happen when they say, you know what, US, we're good. We got what we want. We don't need you anymore. Maybe we'll give you some of our weapons. That's not a good thing when a weapons manufacturer like them tell a country like ours that we're not sharing anymore. And I thought that was wild that he will make a statement like that because, in a sense, he's saying that his country has better weapons than our country. And as we all know in U.S. history, that's a big no-no. You cannot have better weapons than our country because if you have better weapons than our country, that means you're a threat to our country. That means now you have made yourself into a target because now you're a threat to the United States. Nobody, nobody in the United States, no, I'm sorry, nobody outside the United States should have better weapons than the United States. For him to make such a bold claim and state that his weapons are better than ours, it's a threat to our country because that means their weapons are better than ours. That means they can attack us because theirs are better. So I'm gonna end it with where are we going? The South has been tapped to go up north, just like in U.S. history. The South didn't like the way the North was going, so the South decided to separate itself from what do you guys remember what it was called back then? I guess the Union. And now we have National Guards from Texas going up to Illinois, Chicago. What will be the outcome? Because you guys have seen that The Chicago people are acting a lot more wilder than the LA people. And they're not gonna let ICE just go in there and do whatever they want. Chicago people are they're definitely standing up. But with that being said, you guys think about it. I'm gonna be on Marvelous Minds in a few. I'm gonna go there and set up. I'll see you guys there. If you guys join us, we're gonna talk about an interesting topic that I wanted to bring up. It's more of a like a ha ha kind of topic, but I'll see you guys over there. So then, thank you to everybody that came through. Appreciate all of you guys. Shout out to Chris from Arizona. I'll see you guys at Marvelous Minds. No, I don't, Smear Gang. Shut up.